Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous sessions, we talked about the commands that we're using to draw engineering shapes. We almost talked about the main commands that we're going to use them. If you open the draw toolbar from here, you will have some other commands that you can use them. Construction line, and then ray. There are others that you can use them in order to draw. Well, free shapes, rectangular visions, donuts, but when the main one that we're using them a lot will be the one I explained them. Those also are beneficial. You can go and watch some videos about them to see how those gonna help you. But some of them will be for 3D, some of them will be useful for 2D. Now, one of them more often used icon in the draw toolbar is hatch. So if you open this box here, we have hatch, gradient, boundary. So I'm going to talk about hatch. Boundary with hatch, they're similar. So hatch with gradient, they're similar. Boundary is something else. I'm going to talking about hatch. Gradient also can be used in similar manner. Now, what do we use hatch? Why do we use hatch? Imagine you have a rectangle. Let's say you're drawing a box. You have a box here. Now, don't mind what I'm doing here. Just let me just explain. And those steps, you're going to learn them, how to do them later. Now, let's say I have two boxes here. When we create drawing, on the paper, they just line. Now, as engineer, we represent other languages in a drawing. Now, material is one of these language, or we call drawing language techniques, that we have to provide some details to give an indication to the people that the box that you see it here, it's made of different material than this box here. So how would you represent this with a drawing language? We use patterns. So it's a way of communicating with other people. So we use some, it's not coloring, you can use color, but still coloring here does not give you an indication what is the material here. Let's say this is two box. If you look at them at the top, this is two box, I have them. Maybe this is made from glass, it's made of wood or steel or something else. So how would you provide these patterns, or how do you provide the material? We use hatch, which basically provides us with pattern, and the pattern means material. So whenever you want to express a material in a drawing, we use pattern. Now the pattern we use hatch here. So let's say we have a drawing here. We're going to click on hatch. Then when you click on hatch, a new ribbon will be opened. Now it was not here. Hatch creation was not this. If I close, you'll see that there is nothing as hatch creation. When you click on the hatch, a new ribbon will be opened especially for hatch. So it consists of what? Boundaries, patterns, properties, origin, options, and close. We're going to talk about the three of them: boundary, pattern, properties. The rest, for exploring, you can go talk about them. You can study and discuss with others to see how you're dealing with the other commands here. Now the main part we have boundaries, pattern, and properties. So the way it is, we will start with pattern first. So the way that we're selecting it, first we start with selecting our pattern. So we'll go for the pattern. We'll go for the pattern first, then we'll go for the boundary, If we didn't like it, we'll go for changing the properties. So the way that we're doing it, the steps, first we'll choose the pattern, then we'll select the boundaries, I mean which area you want to give this material property, the pattern. Then if you don't like the pattern appearing, you will change the properties of the pattern. So let's see, if you go down from here, you'll see like one layer at a time of materials. If you, from here, if you open it, you will see the list that the materials you have it there. Now you can add more patterns to the list. This is by default, it has some, but you can add more because not everything is inside here. For those who are working, for example, with the specific materials, if it's not here, they will load the pattern. There is a way that they will download it from somewhere, a library, they'll load it to AutoCAD. You can see many more patterns. Now let's say I'm going to choose something which is, see what do we have it here. I have glass. Yes, I'm going to choose this one, glass. Now I've selected the pattern. Then we'll come to boundary. Now in boundary there is two inside it. There is pick point, there is select. Now pick point will be used to select a closed area. Will be used to select a closed area. Now enclosed area we call it. Look, if I wanna select this area, let me just highlight it for you. Oops, sorry. Let's say if I want to highlight only this area, only this area, this is, we call it enclosed area between two rectangles. I just want this area. We're gonna go for pick point. Now many people, they just use pick point. Select is useful for some other purposes. We're gonna explain. Now if you click on pick point, then you will come. Before even clicking, I'm not clicking, just I will hover the mouse over the closed area. It will tell me that if you click, this area will be hatched, or the grid line will be given to this area. Look, there is nothing here, yes, but in between those, it's enclosed area. I can click here, or I can click here. Let's say our aim is this area. I will bring the mouse over the closed area, click, one click, on left click. We can still give it to somewhere else. I can come here and click, or somewhere else. We can click more, it will give it to some other places. But I don't want to click, yes? Now, is this hatch according to what I am looking for? This is, we call it properties. Now we come to properties. Why? Because if I zoom, look, if I zoom, I can see this is what glass, this is what we represent for glass. But this is too small. Here I cannot see them, yes? At this drawing, for this drawing, I mean, it does not look like a glass. So what does it mean? I mean, I have to change from properties. So we have to adjust some properties there in order to bring it to the desired shape. What do we have there? There is a color. So those two are for coloring. If you don't like to be white, I don't prefer those. I'll leave them the way they are. And we can change the coloring. Then the transparency, I will leave it the way it is. I'm not touching the transparency. Then the angle, I'll still keep it the same way. The only way I will focus on is the scale. This one here we call scale. The only part that I wanna mainly focus is in the scale. The rest of them are optional. You can play with them, coloring, changing the transparency, the angle, but this is something must. I mean, you cannot leave it like this. It's not clear what is it. You know, it's a symbol. How people are, they cannot talk, they use symbol, or the one that they use symbol to communicate, yes? So we have to see the symbol in order for other people to understand which material is it. By the way, even we're putting this pattern, we will still write it down. We will write it down, we'll teach you how to write. We'll say this is glass, or this is steel, this is aluminum, or this is concrete. Still we have to, but if someone understands the language of material, they just simply look at the pattern that you have it, and they will understand this is glass. Now, even this is too small, yes? If I zoom in, those are too small. I want to make them bigger. So, how big? I'm just simply changing the scale here. I'll change the scale here. This is 1. I'll change it to 5 to see what will happen. Oh, it's okay. Or I can change it to 10 to see what will happen. 10. 10 is too much. I think I was okay with it. It is 6. Or even maybe 4, 3. Let's see. I think 5 was more acceptable. Now this is just simply changing the scale to see that the desired scale for the pattern. Now, if you still feel that this is small, you can make it bigger or changing the scale of it. Remember what we did? We started with here the pattern, then the boundary, then we change the properties if you don't like it. Now let me just go over the other properties that we have them in case if you want. Now if I change some color, it's going to change the color of the pattern, the first one. The second one is color changing the line, the background, changing the background. I say this is the background and this is the line. So if I change this one to red, like you'll see that the background is yellow, the color is red. That's why I don't prefer to change those colors. I will leave them the way it is. Why? Because we're printing this one, we're printing them, most probably we print them with the black and white, so just the pattern will be enough. The color doesn't make any sense here for us. Now, I recommend you to do hatch once at a time. If I want to do a different hatch here, I'll press escape or click on close hatch creation. Now this hatch is alone. If I come over it, you feel that if I click, it will select the pattern for me. If you come over the pattern, click, it will select the pattern and it will bring it back where to hatch editor. So if you've done something you don't like it, that's why I recommend one hatch at a time. If I click on this hatch, it will bring back the hatch editor. I can change, for example, even the pattern. I can change the pattern, but only this one will change. Why? Because I've done this one alone. Let me tell you what does it mean. If I do another one here, let's see, okay. Okay, let's say now I have two of them. So because of the recording it came a bit late. Now I have two of them. Now, let's say I close the editor. If I want to edit this one, you realize both of them will be selected together. So they are linked together. If I change one of them, both will change. Why? Because I done two of them at the same time, so their editing will be together. I cannot change one of them and the other one to stay the same. This is the problem of doing multi-hatch together. So it's recommended, for example, even if I wanna delete, I have to use different manner. I have to remove, for example, remove this one if I can. It's still supposed to, yes. So I don't want you to go through this process and to redo it again. That's why I recommend you, when you're doing hatch, you only do it once at a time. We close this one, finished, I close the hatch, then I will repeat by clicking on hatch, then I will do another hatch here. Let's say this time I'm going to choose a different, let's say we have wood here, wood. I'm going to come here and click at this one. Now this is wood. This is wood. I don't like the scale. The scale it's small. I mean this is 5 here, still small. Look, this is for this one. I can change this one to, let's say 10. Still small. Make it to 15. Oh, maybe I'm acceptable. I can accept this as 15. Then I'll close the creation. So what we did, pattern, pick point by itself, it's active. So we choose the pattern. Then we can click on pick point. Then click in the area that you want to give the pattern. Then adjust the property. Then click on the close hatch pattern. Now let me do something else. Let's say I have some. This time I think we need small scale. Now let's say we have 3 circles and we wanna hatch some of the areas. I'm gonna click on hatch. Now let's say we can even choose just color here, just color. I mean there are other pattern. If you don't like pattern, you just want to use color, you can use solid. When you use solid, you can go choose the color here. Now let's say if this is solid. If I come over here, you will see the color is. You'll see the color like this. This is pick point. Look, pick point, only the enclosed area. Look, the enclosed areas. If I click, it will give me this coloring. Let's choose one pattern. I'm going to choose different type of block. Now, let me change back this one to normal. Now this is a pattern. Look, a problem we're facing it if due to scale, this is pattern, yes. By pick point, if I go, just hover the mouse over here, wait, it gives me total white, and I'm sure that this is a pattern. Now, if I click, it remains as white, yes. Now, if I zoom in, I don't see anything. Is this small or big? Because this is due to the scaling. Whether it's small or big, I'm sure it's supposed to give me this pattern. Now, the scale is 15. The scale is 15. If I don't know which one is it, maybe it is too small or it's too big, then I'm just gonna try it. I'll make this one 50. I'll hit enter, nothing changed. I'll bring it down from 15 to see maybe it's big. I'll change it to 1, nothing happened. I'll change it to, for example, 0.2, nothing happened. Let's see, I'll go further, 0.01. It has to change, but there's something. It was not updating. It was not updating itself. So look, it's still 0.01 is still big. 0.01. So I'm gonna go for something even smaller than this one. So I'll make it 0.005. It has to change, but because I'm recording, that's why it was stuck there. So if I go still smaller, 0.01, oh, this is too small. So I can make it, bring it back 0.03. Wow. Maybe this is okay. But look at this scale, 0.03. The other one of 15, 2. It depends on what? Depends on the drawing that you have it. So you don't know whether you need too small or too big. So you just have to try it to find the best scale for the drawing that you have it. By the way, I used pick point, yes. Look, pick point only goes with the enclosed area. Let's say that I want completely this circle completely to be hatched. And instead of clicking here, then here, then here, then here to fill all of this pattern, let's say I'm going to use this pattern. I want to make full circle here, full circle. With pick point, I have to 4 click, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna give me what happened. Look, I changed the pattern. So let's close this one to redo another hatch to not mix them. Another hatch. I'm gonna go for this pattern this time. Now, if I click here, I select the pattern, by default is pick point. 1 click, 2 click, 3, 4, in order to get the full circle. I didn't look at the enclosed area, I just look at the circle. So I had to 4 click in order to do it. 4 click. Well, can we do this one faster? Yes, we can do it faster by using select. Now select, it's gonna go select the object. Now how many objects do I have here? 3 circles. If I just click on this, look, for the select, you have to click on the object. For pick point, you're gonna click within the area. Look, I click within the area. But for select, we're gonna click on the circle, and directly it will fill the circle, no matter how many enclosed area is inside it. No, it will directly select this complete circle. That's a faster way to do. If you're looking for an object to be filled directly, you can use select. But for select, you're not gonna click on the space. Look, select does not work like this. I cannot click here. I have to click on the object. On the object. That's the difference between pick point and select when we're selecting the pattern area. Look, again, this is pick point. It's only give me the enclosed area. If I'm looking for this closed area, yes, pick point is the one that have to be used. But if I'm willing to give pattern to this circle, I will use select. I'll click on select, then I'll click on the edge. I'll click on the circle. It will fill the circle for me. That's the difference between select and pick point. And this is basically what hatch. The rest of them, the transparency, those things. Let's say, for example, I'm giving it to pick point here. Say give it here. Then transparency, it's basically making the, sometimes you don't want it to be that much transparent, you can just leave it in this manner. Angle is changing the way that it looks like, the rotation. Those are something optional, you can adjust them by the way that you want. Now, we said that when you close, you can always come back to them. Let's say I click on this one, it will bring it back. Like if I change the angle here, what will happen? I'll change the angle of the arrangement here. Now if I make this one to be 8, you will see the angles. Because the angle changed, the transparency the same way. Transparency can be changed to make it lighter. And if I press escape, also it's possible. You'll see that this is the pattern. It's a bit lighter than the other drawings. Some people, they prefer in this manner to tell them that those are not drawing line, those are the pattern. They will make them a bit transparent. This is all about hatch. Gradient basically just coloring. It's just coloring. It's bringing you to the same place, but it has different things. It normally goes for the coloring. It's made for coloring gradients. So it's a combination of two color. You will have it here. Combination of 2 colors. As I'm not going to talk about gradients. Simply for us, the patterns, which we call them hatch, is important. Boundary, I'll come back to it when we reach to 3D. I'll talk about boundary, why we're using boundary as well. Thanks for watching.